Hi everyone. This is LeGrand Woods. Uh, I chose for my project for this semester long-term care facilities. So that's what we're going to go over. So here's a quick outline. I'm going to start off with the definition of long-term care facilities, and then an example of one here in Gainesville. I'm going to briefly go over state and federal regulations, documentation requirements, funding issues, certification, licensure, accreditation, medical coding schemes, and then a special challenge, which is related to COVID-19. It's going to be an ongoing challenge for a while, I'm afraid. And then the conclusion. So, this was the best definition I could find for long term care facilities. I'm not going to read it word for word, but I wanted to point out here at the last two lines of the definition is they include nursing homes, rehab facilities, inpatient behavioral health facilities, and long term chronic care hospitals. So at the beginning of the semester, when we chose which facility we wanted to focus on, I didn't think about it. It didn't occur to me at the time when I selected it, but the, the facility that I selected actually comprehends some of the other ones that were on the list, like nursing facilities and nursing homes. So it kind of made it more of a broad topic for me, which I found interesting. And it also made it easier for us to discuss with one another and share things that we were learning throughout the semester. So here's an example of a long-term care facility here in Gainesville. This is actually probably arguably one of the more popular ones. It's quite expensive. Uh, it's for retirees that want their uh, where they retire and their medical facilities. They want it all under one umbrella. And so basically, Oak Hammock is affiliated with the University of Florida, and it's a long-term care facility that has multiple not only health facilities but other programs and recreation things to help the residents there to live a full life in their retirement. There's a lot of state and federal regulations that help govern the operation of long-term care facilities. I'm not going to read too much of these. One of the rights of a patient or a resident at a long-term care facility is to be adequately informed of their medical condition. It's pretty important. It's an obvious right that I'm glad is in the, codified in the law. And then from the federal regulations, a facility must treat each resident with respect and dignity and care. Again, these are all very important things. It's good that we have them as part of our laws. So, for documentation requirements, there's been some recent changes. Um, One of the most recent changes was the resident assessment instrument. A few years earlier, not too long ago, but a few years earlier, it was used as a supplemental assessment tool, but now it's being strongly encouraged to be used as the main assessment tool for residents in a long-term care facility. Funding issues have been obviously for quite a few healthcare facilities and other business organizations. COVID-19 has negatively affected the funding of a lot of healthcare facilities, and long-term care facilities in particular have faced a especially difficult financial crisis from COVID-19. They did receive some government assistance this year, but they're still struggling. So different authors have expressed the hope that um, additional funding in the future will be forthcoming to help them stay open. So for a long-term care facility to become accredited, they generally have one of two organizations to become accredited from. That's either the Joint Commission or the Commission on Accreditation of Rehabilitation Facilities, CARF. Both of these organizations have very high standards the facilities they accredit, and so that's beneficial for a long-term care facility to be accredited by one of those organizations. Medical long-term care facilities use medical coding schemes that many other healthcare facilities provide or use. They use ICD-10 codes, CPT-4 codes, and HCPCS codes. We're starting to wrap up now. As I mentioned earlier, one of the special challenges currently that long-term care facilities are facing is COVID-19. Because a lot of residents in long-term care facilities tend to be in the age bracket that's most susceptible to complications from COVID-19, they've had a lot of there's been a lot of deaths in long-term care facilities, especially as it points out here. Even though less than 1% of the U.S. population is in long-term care, as of November 5th, which was just last week, this tiny fraction still accounts for 40% of COVID-19 deaths here in this country. That's pretty significant. So that tells me there's a big need to, perhaps more so than others, to give long-term care facilities a little extra help. Hospitals might be a little bit better equipped to deal with these things, and so it'd be good to give more emphasis to strengthening long-term care facilities. In conclusion, a former senator for Wisconsin once stated, "Long-term care facilities are an important part of our healthcare system." If you can see this image, a significant portion, well, actually the largest portion of out-of-pocket spending by Medicare patients is in long-term care facilities. You can see right there the orange segment is the largest of all the various medical facilities. So it's a very high intensive resource usage healthcare facility, and so they, considering everything with COVID-19, they probably needed quite a bit of help. Here's the references for anyone who's curious of looking at these on their own. Thank you for your time. I hope that this presentation's been informative for you. I hope it's been enjoyable. I hope it hasn't been too boring. And it's been fun to be with you guys this semester, and I wish you well the remainder of the semester.